It's time to wake up.
Welcome to Ask the Guru. I'm J. Rob, the Guru of Peace, and also the OG of protein. Question today was someone asked me, they go, hey, you started your company in way back when? I go, well, yeah. They said, did you have to work any other jobs after you started your company, or were you just in there from the get-go and let her rip? Well, the answer to that's, I did have to work other jobs for sure. I started the company in 1988 in North Park section of San Diego, California. And I started it from the spare room of the duplex that I lived in at the time in North Park. And at the time I was also managing Jimbo's health food store in North Park also that I worked at for 3-4 years already up to that point when I started my company or corporation. And so I kept that job when I started it, and so I would get up at 5 in the morning and work in that spare room. Had a little Macintosh, and I would do what work I could. I'd answer the phones and so on. And from there, I got to move up because after business got me a little bit further along, I actually moved to a small house that had a 2-car garage. So I was still working at Jimbo's when I moved there, and I took the garage and turned it into a warehouse and office space. So I had my phone, fax machines back then. Can you believe it? There were fax machines. I had no beeper, but I did have a fax machine. And so I had the phone, and so I would work that in the early morning, and then I worked the second shift. I went to work at 1 o'clock at Jimbo's and would work and manage that store till close, and got off around 9 o'clock. In the process of doing that also, I've outfitted the garage I had with home gym equipment, and I began personal training people to also supplement my income, because my philosophy was this: I'm going to start the company and I'm going to put all proceeds or all profits back into the company as many years as I need to until I feel like it's very stable, and then I will let it stand on its own. And that was I like to grow in cash. I did not want to be out on a limb for a big loan or have all investors and things like that I'm having to answer to. I wanted to do this naturally, organically, and in cash, so I didn't have to worry about it. Nothing's going to happen, and nothing can happen at all. So I was willing to manage Jimbo's as the manager there at the health food store, personal training there for an hourly rate, and I did have some people coming down from Orange County, occasionally from Los Angeles too, and a lot of people in the San Diego area to train. There was not a lot of trainers back in those days. It isn't quite like it is now, just like there wasn't very many protein powders back then. So I was honored to be able to do that because I'd had 2 fitness clubs. I was also personal training in that when I had my fitness club in 1980 when I started that. So I was all well-versed in these things, well-versed in bodybuilding, been doing that for years. So I knew the human body well. Training, there was not certifications back in those days even. Those came a little bit later on where it was more common. So I worked those 3. So I started my own company, J. Rob Enterprises, to do the protein. And then I had Jimbo's, and then I was doing personal training. And it was an interesting ride, but I was willing to do what it takes to make that happen. And it was about 5 years before I felt like the J. Rob Enterprises and my protein could take off. And I think the year was 93 or 94. And so I retired all other things, even the personal training, and focused 100% on getting protein across America and writing books. I wrote the Fat Burning Diet that same year, and getting the information out to people and educating people and helping people to find the benefits of health and fitness. So if you're in a job now, don't be hesitant to get a second job or third job. If you want to start a business, don't be hesitant to get a second job or even a third job. Don't be afraid to do whatever it takes to be successful, because success, hard work and smart work is required for success in life and in business especially. And it'll also keep your stress levels low, because the money flows when you're not saying, I got to make it this week and how do I pay rent or something like that. You don't have to worry about it. And it worked out well. We're still rocking and rolling to this day. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in, for being a part of the J. Rob world, and for tuning in to Ask the Guru. I'm here for you. Please go to the comment section, leave a comment or a question. subscribe. Please subscribe and also like. We depend on you and we thank you because we love you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Hang loose.
Hang loose. Get the chill on, hang loose.